Shafar or Shafar, I think it's Shafar versus Scott Monroe. Apologies once again to people if I never am saying your name right. You know, please come over to the booth and tell me how to say your name if you've been on camera and I'm screwing it up. Because I've certainly it happens a fair amount.
Perennial.
Yeah.
Perennial name screw upper. So Scott Monroe, Rug Delver on your right, Will Shafar, Merfolk on your left.
Yeah, Merfolk really came back into resurgence with Master of the Pearl Trident. It's now almost, it's interesting, it's still an Ether Vial, it's still the same Merfolk we all know and love, but it actually has become more of a 2-drop based deck instead of a 3-drop based deck.
Right. So there you see the Aether Vial trigger stifled by Scott Monroe. So basically a time walk against Will Shafar, who has so many 2-drops in his hand right now. He's flooded. So now that Will Shafar's plans have been thwarted a little bit, he has to figure out how to proceed. He has lots of cards with double blue, but he can't cast much. So it looks like he'll just settle on Aether Vial and say go. Decides not to use the Wasteland. Scott Monroe wastes the Mutavault.
So the bigger problem here is that Monroe hasn't made a threat yet. In this matchup, remember, the problem is that Shafar's threats tend to be more threatening here. He has Ether Vial, so he actually can just wasteland away here. You know, he's drawing a second wasteland. Shafar should be perfectly content just like wastelanding everything right now.
Right, exactly. He has 2 Aether Vials. Next turn, they're going to go nuclear. He'll be able to drop any creature in his hand, instantly make 2 3/3s. Kind of like what Populate wishes it could do. Every turn for Will Shafar. Actually, the Merfolk deck in some ways now resembles a Pack Rat deck more than anything. The creatures all just kind of grow off each other and enhance each other.
Every card is the same. You just play the same spell every turn. It's really fun.
Here, welcome to Legacy. It's very fun.
It's very fun. Here's my selling point on Legacy. Come to Legacy, you can play Pack Rat.
Yeah. Come to Legacy, you can get comboed off before you play a spell. So I find it really interesting that Will Shafar does not wasteland the other land here. I just don't get it. He's keeping double blue up, but he passed the turn without playing any of his Merfolks.
Well, I mean, yeah, when you have 2 Ether Vials in play, actually casting your spells is usually a misplay.
Right.
Especially against a deck like Delver. Like you don't want your guy dazed. That's terrible.
Exactly, and you know it's kind of like Pack Rat. Casting anything else also a misplay. There you go.
Merfolk, it's the blue Pack Rat.
So Scott Monroe, end of turn, fetches up a land. We'll see if he can add a threat to the board. He's going to need one really soon. Post board, he does have access to 2 Fire Spouts, but the presence of the Aether Vials makes it so that it's going to be really hard to catch 2 Merfolk at 3/3. Because Will Shafar's line should be end of turn Violin, 2 Lords, my turn Violin, 2 more Lords. Will Shafar also with Submerge right now, so his draw's very good.
Yeah, alright, so there we see that wasteland coming down here. Alright, and it's gonna get the Volcanic Island, and Monroe knows that on end step, stuff's going down.
Oh yeah, he has to feel it coming. Will Shafar has done a bunch of nothing so far. Optimistic to think that he's not just sitting on a ton of Merfolk. So Scott Monroe goes to fetch up his Trop. I'm not sure if all 3 of his Volcanics are gone or he just wants double green available, but he only has access to 3 Volcanics in his deck. So I believe there's 1 more red source. Oh, okay, it's in his hand. That makes sense.
So he's got to be careful. Remember, Rug Delver does not play any basics. So he really doesn't want his last Wasteland. He's going to put it down. All right, end step, and here's the thing. His creatures are not blockable, ever. So, all right, 1 Lord of Atlantis. Lightning Bolt, and we'll see no counterspell from, doesn't have one, he has 2 more islands in hand.
Oh wow, yeah, his hand is actually very land heavy. He has
2 Submerges, 2 islands.
And Scott Monroe is going to be pretty pleased to see this. He doesn't have anything either, but he'll have to be happy to not be dead right
I mean,
now.
the problem is that in this matchup, Merfolk is the better deck to play off the top in this situation. From a board stall, Monroe is drawing cards like Spell Snare here, which unfortunately there's 2 Ether Vials set on 2. Spell Snare is a little weak in the situation.
Right. Spell Snare very good against Merfolk if they don't have it, but when they do, Oh, wow, this is brave. This is a forked bolt from Scott Monroe. He figures that
He's going to submerge his own Lord of Atlantis. He is that concerned about keeping a threat live.
Right.
And I think I like that. A Lord of that is an interesting play. That play is not 2 for 1ing yourself. I had to think about that for a second. No, it's essentially.
You're just essentially ensuring that you.
No. You're 2 for 1ing yourself. You're 2 for 1ing yourself. You lost 2 cards. He lost 1. All right, Croson Grip. One of the Ether Vials is gone.
Yep, that's one of 2 Croson Grips available to Scott Monroe. So if he can draw the other one, Will Shafar will be out of business. He'll have to go back to casting his spells the fair way.
Right, now the Master of the Pearl Trident coming into play. He could not Ether Violet, but why?
Yeah, there's
3 damage in by Shafar.
No reason to open it up to Force of Will.
So this is going to be 2 attacks right now if Monroe can't do anything about it. His hand, Force of Will, Spell Snare, Force of Will. Tarmogoyf, hey, that one works, but unfortunately they cannot block.
No, he cannot block, and he will be submerged.
I think now one of the more interesting lines I've seen out of a Delver opponent in a matchup against Merfolk, I've seen someone cast his own spell and then alternate cost to daze it to get all his lands off the board so that he can block Merfolk. I don't think that plays. He doesn't have enough dazes to pull that off right now, though.
No, I think Will Shafar would have to draw the rest of his wastelands to manage that one. So Scott over there not happy about this island walking nonsense. Knows he can't block.
God, it's just these pack rats. Another 2/2 Lord, another 2/2 Lord.
Lucky for him, Will Shafar just drawing a bunch of lands. He's drawn 7 lands this game.
6. All right, he's going to brainstorm here. So he's looking for a lightning bolt, okay, a ponder to stay alive, and scavenging ooze. He doesn't have another land, so he can't ooze away a creature. And that might not even be that good of a play as stands. So he's going to put 2 back. He has 1 more draw up, a ponder shuffle, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, at 6 life, this is his last turn.
Yeah, Monroe has another forked bolt in hand, but the fish have gotten out of control, and forked bolts will not subdue them.
The fish left to their own devices just multiply. So Ponder, he'll get to see 2 fresh cards the 3rd one down. Found the lightning bolt.
Wow, all right, well, now they're staying on top. And Shafar will likely make the submerge play again.
Yeah, I definitely think he will. Scott Monroe might wait till after the draw phase, but besides it's too risky. Just goes for it.
Yep, Shafar will submerge it. That gives Monroe just 1 more turn.
We see a Force of Will from Scott Monroe.
That's very good play.
Yeah.
Very heads up play, because now, remember that Lord of Atlantis and Master of the Pearl Trident do not give themselves Island Walk. Monroe's going to go for that anyway.
That was GT drawn by Will.
Monroe's got to be unhappy that happened. No, that was a thing. Monroe probably, as he stares at the spell snare in his hand, says to himself, "That was a thing."
That just happened. Darn those wastelands.
So the problem is now the Tarmogoyf is not big enough to block Lord of Atlantis.
No,
so it's a 6.
It's not big enough, and Scott Monroe knows his top 2 cards. It's a Force of Will and another card, and they are not going to help him. Forked Bolt also doesn't help. That'll eat up a counter off the GT, but that's it.
I mean, and to be fair, even if Monroe does manage to get the GT, there's the problem that the next. I mean, actually, no, he could have Forked Bolt the Lord of Atlantis. So yeah, he's going to Forked Bolt Lord of Atlantis here, so that Shafar will have to pump, and now it's only a 4/4 on the attack. So that attack loses the game.
Yeah, it looks like Scott's plan is to chump block with
the scavenging.
So he's trying to race.
Chump blocking, I don't like that play at all. You can't race a GT. I don't know how long you've been playing. Like, racing GT is so miserable.
It doesn't really work.
That's like saying in limited, I'm gonna race this Baneslayer.
I'm gonna race this Grave Titan.
You can race Grave Titan, but giant life linkers, you don't race those things either.
Right.
Regery casting play. The bigger problem is I think you'd want to eat. The problem is that the second creature beats you no matter what it is, because it picks up, the GT would have 3 counters, and the second creature picks up the GT, and then you're just really in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And as we see here, Scavenging Ooze has to jump in the way. GT up to 3 counters.
No, it's a 3/3. Yeah. Ooze dies. They're just checking. GT goes to Regery. Shafar. He already knows the next card. It's not going to help him. He didn't draw his Bluster Squall, therefore...
No overload.
Well, no, but Shafar can gain 6. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that's true too. Scott Monroe out of options at this point. He found the Lightning Bolt, but it wasn't quite enough.
And that's just the thing. And the creatures from Merfolk are just are better in the late game in this matchup. They have pack rats. It's really once you start getting enough pack rats in play, they're very unbeatable.
Yeah, it's really hard to beat a Tarmogoyf in combat, but if you get enough creatures, they can Voltron them down.
GTA beats everything in combat.
Yeah, that's
everything.
True. That's true.
I remember coming to the conclusion in Standard that a Boros Swiftblade carrying a GTA, beats up a 5/5 and gets 2 GTA counters at the end. It's like, oh wow, that's sweet.
That's a cool artifact.
Yeah.
In this block we made with very little artifact destruction. That's a good idea.
Yeah, funny enough, Pack Rat and GTA, 2 of the most broken cards in Limited ever printed, both of them pretty much in the same deck.
Yeah, Will Shafar playing a Pack Rat GTA deck.
He's playing a really sweet Limited deck. Alright, Will Shafar moves to 3-0. Scott Monroe is now at 2-1.
Yeah. Looks like it was a friendly match. Will Shafar instantly digs into White Castle.